Hi there, it's Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, Worldwide TV Network, Women on TV, and iTube 247 out of Franklin, Tennessee. So back with us again. I feel I didn't do full justice the first time I talked to this young lady because we were really truly locked down then. But I had to have this. I wanted to have the girls on, and we've all been doing 2, 3, 5 shows a day. And I'm like, Jessica, you got to come on. You got to meet this lady Wendy that I'm vicariously always looking at and makes me laugh all the time. All right, Wendy, who are you and where'd you come from?
Here I am. I'm Wendy Stuart Kaplan. I live in New York. And yes, I make you laugh all the time because I have that wild and crazy comedy cooking show called Pandemic Cooking with Wendy. And you know why it's so funny, Brian? You know why? Because if you really watch closely, I don't really cook. I don't really cook. I just, I make recipes. I tell jokes. I make political commentary, and I'm in my little tiny New York kitchen. But what it does, it makes me feel so good that you gave me that intro. What a wonderful intro, and how incredible to be back here with you.
Well, not only a comic and actress, the last woman standing. and it's always 100 degrees in there, which is interesting.
Wait, here's my book.
Exactly.
It's the last woman standing. I have that right here. When I wrote that book, I mean, here's the irony. When I wrote that book, which has been about my crazy life, this whole thing with Pandemic Cooking with Wendy didn't even exist. Right? So you never know what twists and turns your life is going to take, right?
Exactly. Well, when we last talked with you, you were kind of starting that in a way, but I just see so much stuff going on with you. And you know what makes me really laugh? You and I both wear our shield on our shows, which is interesting. But
yes,
you look a lot more sexier wearing it than I do. I look like I'm a welder. You just look sexy in that with a skirt when it's 100 degrees in your kitchen.
Yeah, well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret, and anyone who's going to be listening, I'll let them in on a secret. If you noticed, my shield is embellished with those stick-on rhinestones. Okay, and the particular episode that you're probably referring to, the last one I did with Francisco, she brought feathers. So we attached I didn't know she was going to do that. And I came out with these really great shields so that we could work together and be safe and to, show people out there we're doing this, but we're really being careful. But when she pulled those feathers out of her shopping bag, I just about died. And we attached them to the visors. Don't you think we look like we were like from Moulin Rouge?
It was funny because it's current, it's funny, you're making people laugh, but at the same time, you're still being safe by doing it. And that's a challenge.
Yes.
There's not a lot of us in the studio. I mean, it's maybe we can count them on 2 hands. But technically we should wear our shield with a mask underneath. People don't realize it's tough doing it when you're doing a show and you don't know how long you have it on for, but at the same time, you have to think about so many other things at the same time too. And how do you do that by making it funny? Well, it can be made funny, but it's still serious, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But listen, what you're talking about is the fact that we have all had to adapt. Let me tell you, they shut down New York March 12th. And it completely rocked my world. I'm an entertainer, right? You're in the entertainment industry. And the first thing I said to myself is, what the heck am I going to do? Like everything, I MC. There were no clubs open to MC at. I do theater. They shut down every stage. I'm a model. There was no modeling work. I'm a stand-up comedian. Where am I going to go and tell jokes? And I was standing in my kitchen the day after they shut New York down. I said to my husband, you know what? I said, we're going to do a cooking show because he's my cinematographer on my documentaries and the director. And he said to me, how are you going to do a cooking show, Wendy? You don't cook. I said, exactly. And you want to know the beauty of it, Brian? You see, doing this show, right? It lets me use all the costumes. You see, if you watch the show, I'm in like bizarre costumes all the time. It lets me use the costumes that I have, you know, from performances I've done in clubs. It lets me use the endless amounts of wigs that I have, whether they're rainbow colored or bright red or black. It lets me use all the things that I have that are part of me in my house. And yet, if people use their imagination and they follow me on there, they can be anywhere in the world for any dish I choose to make. Now, you know, I did India, and that was so much fun, you know, because I created a whole scenario and I had on a long black wig. Although when I saw myself after the shoot, I'm like, okay, you're not very convincing. But people understood what I was doing.
No,
and I had
works. It works.
It works. It works. And I had the sari on and I had the, you know, bangle bracelets on. Well, because I've been to a lot of these places, right, in my other life when things were normal. And I remember what they were like. So what could be better than to bring this to people, you know, at home, especially like you said, when we were all had to really isolate. Now, none of us know if that's going to happen again. I don't know. You know, that's the thing. We don't know. So I'm going to continue doing pandemic cooking from my little kitchen. Now, one of the things I did this summer, just because things had loosened up a little bit, one of the episodes you might have seen me, I was on my friend Simone's deck. Now, my friend Simone is a survivalist, you know, person that cans stuff and puts it in her basement for the apocalypse coming. So I thought this would be the best person I know, right? You're laughing now, right? We talked about the coming apocalypse. And then she had this book, like it's like it's called Survivor's Bible to the Apocalypse. Like what to do when people have to like just move into their basements. And she was so much fun to cook with. And again, we just did simple barbecue stuff. But if you looked at the stuff we made, which was all really cool, I think we used a really great barbecue sauce. We made fun dishes that people could make at home that were easy. But it was also, you know, what we were talking about while the whole thing was going on, because I didn't know that she was a survivalist till then. I had no idea. She only started telling me this when the camera was rolling. I'm like, wait, you're one of those that you like, you'll shelter in your basement? And she said to me, oh yeah, I'm totally ready. I'm totally ready for anything. I'm like, wait, you have a bunker? Yep, a bunker. So there you go. You never know the surprises. So, you know, it's happened from doing this show, of course. I've been on a bunch of other shows that have been so much fun. There's two amazing drag performers, Alexis Flame and Tony Holmperm, had me on their show, which is called Naughty or Nice, or as they say, nice. And it's a lot of banter, but the banter is funny. And we just, you know, we dish about people, dishing about, you know, movie stars. And half the time, and you'll relate to this, maybe we're not so factual, but the conversation's funny. And if you want to be entertaining, that's what it's about. Listen, if I'm talking to you, if I meet you at a party, and hopefully that's going to happen in the near future, that we'll get to see each other face to face. But, you know, I would like to think that when you and I are just talking, that you're standing there laughing the same way you do when you see me on Pandemic Cooking. I think that would be cool.
Well, instead, you know, Wendy, talking about someone who makes me laugh, there's Jessica from Tennessee.
Oh,
Hi,
Jessica.
Wendy.
Oh,
hi, nice to meet you. How are you?
Oh, you're so pretty. How are you?
Oh, thank you. You also. I'm good. It's a beautiful day here, so I'm just enjoying. Once I finally got sat down, I'm enjoying the weather.
I'm looking at your background. You have a gorgeous fern, and the weather's warm, right?
Yeah, it was in the 70s today. I'm afraid though that those days are slowly going away. I think today and tomorrow might be those last days of the 70s before we start going down for, I mean, it makes sense. It's officially fall. So I'm okay with it. Fall's my favorite time of the year anyway.
Okay, so this is a really dumb question, Jessica. Wait, you're in Tennessee. You guys have fall in Tennessee?
Oh, we have everything.
You do? So like, Wow.
The whole gamut, yes. And
I didn't
unfortunately,
realize that.
I wish though that we do have all of the temperatures, but sadly we skip the snow part. We go from it's kind of normal, yay, it's cool. All of a sudden it's freezing and we go straight to ice. And it's very unfortunate. I wish that we could hit the snow part, but it's normal and then it's icy and then no one knows how to drive and
yeah, right. And then they're all crazy on the roads and everything. And snow is beautiful, right?
Yes.
It's beautiful. So the part of Tennessee you're in is, what is it, like in the north, or it borders on, wait, would it border on West Virginia? Oh my gosh, I'm doing so bad with geography here, Brian.
Well, I'm actually in the middle. And also I'm kind of partial to Tennessee because we have all of the terrain. Our East Tennessee is mountains. We have the East Tennessee Mountains, Great Smokies. And then
the Great Smokies, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yes. And then Middle Tennessee, we have a little bit of both. And then as you go west, it starts to kind of go down a little bit. So we have all the geographics and we have all the seasons. It's great.
There you go. You know, that's why I love being on these shows. I find I learned something, right? I had no idea. Well, yeah. I'm in New York, Jessica, and we're having a beautiful fall here. As a matter of fact, Brian, you don't get to do fall things in the part of the country that you're in, do you?
Wendy, I went through all of that nonsense already. I don't need that. That's one of the reasons why I left Connecticut. I was done with all of that stuff. I just want warm weather.
You just want warm. Okay, so I'm going to speak from my heart of hearts. I'm right there with you. I mean, I could visit fall. Winter, I could completely live without. Spring is kind of nice. I could fly somewhere to see it, but I have reached the point, Brian, that I'm there with you, that I just want the weather to be nice all the time. But I have to tell you guys, I did something so cool this weekend. Because I'm living in the North, I have to make myself enjoy it. And I do like the fall activities. So I went on a hayride, I went apple picking, and I went to a pumpkin patch. All in the same place. Oh my God, in a corn maze. Oh, come on, Brian. Don't you miss the corn maze?
Yes.
Oh,
corn mazes are the best.
Jessica loves the corn maze.
Even if you don't agree.
No, I can create stuff anytime.
Could you really? But you haven't done it yet, right?
No.
Yes. When
you can create it, but it's not natural. It's not organic. It's like
right. That's right. If you create, that's called set building. So what you're saying is you can build a set with a corn maze on it. You are the biggest cheater on the face of the earth.
Well, Wendy, I actually am kind of missing New York myself. I was living there for 7 years, and
oh wow.
So a couple of things. I love fall up there as well, and unfortunately I haven't visited this year, but I miss it every day. But my best friend still lives there. She's actually who lit the fire under my butt to make me actually go there. And cool. She is very much outside. She loves nature. She's so creative. And you were talking about your apocalypse friend earlier, and you immediately made me think of my best friend who lives in New York. She is the same way. And like I said, she's so creative and inventive, and she already has a plan because, everybody's living in a walk-up or with elevators.
Yeah. What's her plan?
So, well, she already has this escape plan for when there's the zombie apocalypse, and she's already decided how she's going to scale out of her window. Because she lives on the top. Well, she used to live
I'm on the 10th floor. What am I going to do up here? What is her plan? Is she going to a bungee? Is she planning something with a bungee?
No, hers is more of sheets and curtains, and she's going to do the whole knot and scale down that way. Well, she was
a Girl Scout. She must have been a Girl Scout, right, Brian? She knows how to do those knots. How do you get Girl Scout, your friend? My gosh.
Yeah, she's amazing. Her sister. Actually, they just posted something recently on Facebook, and they've ventured out of the city, and they're doing what you said you did. They're enjoying nature.
Well, we city people, we have to do that, or it's just like being surrounded by these buildings all the time. And you're talking about the zombie apocalypse. The city has picked up somewhat, but you know what? It's still empty. And even in June, the streets, especially the financial district, you could roll a bowling ball through there and not see a person.
Mhm.
And we have no tourists here now. I mean, come on, guys, this is all like, we're living through a very weird time.
Yep.
You know,
We really
that's
are. We are all
I
in
didn't
a
think about
science
that,
fiction
Wendy.
film.
I was when I'm in Hollywood early, there's no tourists on the boardwalk. I mean, on the Hall of Fame. That is bizarre. I mean, I didn't think
Right.
that in New York. That's weird.
Right, but it's true for so many of these big cities that, you know, our economy is dependent on tourists. We have no tourists here in New York. The subways, for the most part, no more than like 10 people in a car now. Anytime I ride on the subways, because I've gotten some modeling jobs back, and I take the subway there. Never any more than 10 people in the car. So that's crazy. It
That
really,
blows
really
my
is.
mind. That blows my
It-
mind because unless it's 3 or 4 a.m., you don't
Right.
see that. That doesn't happen.
Well, I have to tell you, Jessica, like last year, things had gone so on fire in New York before COVID, like, you know, the clubbing, all of it. There's so much energy and vitality here. You could be on the subway at 3 o'clock in the morning. I swear to God, packed
Yeah.
to the rafters.
Yes,
you know?
I've had those moments as well.
You have, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's so crazy what's going on now, and all of us. I said to Brian, we have to learn to adapt. This is going to sound like weird, but I have like a hashtag I use, and it's on my Facebook, it's on my Instagram. It's called Living My Best Pandemic Life, and it's me I have over 50 masks now. I have anyone that designs them, I hashtag them, and I advertise their masks. But there's a whole bunch of reasons why I do this. It makes me feel better. Okay. I am not a cloth mask kind of person. I am fashionable. Why am I going to put a cloth mask on? It's just a down. Yeah, right. It's
What do you mean? This looks so great. What are you talking about?
It's just a
I don't
downer.
even know you.
I can wear sequins, you know, it's just great to wear sequins, and you can get that in a mask. So I call it Living My Best Pandemic Life. And I've got these masks on, and I'm just going about my day the same way I used to. And that's how I'm getting through this, you know?
Yeah.
And trying to develop more work. Like Pandemic Cooking came from here. I do another show on Sunday nights called Triversity Talk. I helped start an LGBTQ, and that show, that's where the name Triversity came from. But I have on all the entertaining people that are LGBTQ, whether it's politicians or filmmakers, you know, and it's really great because I'm a personality kind of gal. That's pretty obvious. So, you know, that's what I want to surround myself with. So I have all these wonderful guests on that, you know, we talk about current events and things, and it's just great. Now I want to take that and do another show. I'm thinking in New York, out of a restaurant here, one that I can get that would allow me to do that, where I can interview artists, performance artists, and, you know, anyone in the performing arts. That's a big balloon. So that would really be fun. I feel that this, for all of us, is an incredibly creative time that we can rock it out now. It really is, because there's nothing stopping us. You know, like you said, Brian, people aren't really in studios, not really, you know. People are broadcasting from their home. And that's a whole other thing. People can tell if you have like good decorations or stuff on the wall. Do you guys ever think about that? That like someone's peering into your house. My husband was across asleep in the chair when I was on a show the other night. I'm like, oh my Lord, I hope nobody saw that. He was like all cocked out in the chair.
If you accidentally change the camera angle to the
Yes.
instead of selfies, just
Yeah, right. It's like, oh my gosh, everybody can see that, you know. So we are, as performers, we're forced to deal with things we never would have had to deal with before, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's so
Well,
true.
I hear my bird is screaming.
I was going to ask you, I enjoyed, first of all, thank you for an enjoyable interview with Brian, whenever that was, July or something. I had the pleasure of watching your part one.
Thank you.
And so there's so many things that you touched on, but then I'm curious about,
Go for it, Jessica. I like to talk about everything. Whatever's on your mind, let's all talk.
Awesome. Let's do it. Well, initially, I guess early on you had mentioned auditioning because, like Brian said, you cover everything. What, actress, filmmaker, comedian, author, writer, model, all the things.
You got it all right.
Yeah, and congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you.
And what I really appreciate though is that having as many opportunities and as many gigs as you've gotten over the years, you're still in the group, the audition group, right? You still have to go in, you still have to go meet those people.
You know what, Jessica, it never ends.
Exactly.
It never ends. And now, with what's happened with COVID and all of Broadway is shut down. So you have all those performers, right? Mm-hmm. And all the models that are looking for work. I mean, and there's so little. So now everybody's going for like a tiny little piece of the pie. But what is interesting is all of my auditions now, instead of having to go in somewhere and read, I'm doing it all on Zoom or Google, mm-hmm. or any of the platforms that are available to us, which is really quite interesting. One of the very first ones I did, I completely blew because I wasn't a tech savvy person. I've had to become a tech savvy person, As I tell people, I'm living in a virtual world, but I am not a virtual girl. Oh yeah.
I like it.
Madonna's song, right? Material girl, but it's true. So all of my auditions, and I'm very grateful now. Things have picked up, but they're all on Zoom.
Well, you mentioned in kind of not an issue at all. It's just like a slight obstacle that we all have to go through. But you said early on, like when you used to do in-person auditions.
Yes.
Your personality is very outgoing and don't hold anything back. And both of you had discussed just put it all out there, and then if they want you to bring it back, they'll ask you to do it. But you had said that a lot of the time they were almost overwhelmed with you giving them who you are, and yes. So you would read the room to see if that was actually what you felt like they wanted, or if that was something that you probably should pull back before you even started, as if we didn't have enough to be concerned about anyway.
Right.
What do we look like? What's our lines? Am I even saying the right words? And now you have to become a psychiatrist and
right.
figure out who these people are in a matter of seconds.
Do you remind somebody of someone they used to date and that it was a bad breakup?
Right. And
that
so
can happen.
Yeah, and you strike one and you didn't even do anything. You just showed
right.
up. So how does that play now? Because now not only are you having to think about this, but now it's virtual. So how are you able to kind of decipher, let me go all out, let me not, like how is that played out virtually with these online auditions?
So what's happened for me, I've got such incredible PR out there. So when I was part of a group before, now I'm a standalone, for lack of a better way of describing it. So if they're auditioning me, I'm just going to let it all hang out. This is who I am. This is what I'm about. If you're looking for a pink one, I'm not your girl. I'm the purple one. And I am very much 100% purple. And I don't have a personality that can morph into your horrific script. If you want me to tailor that script to my personality, and right, you're laughing, but you know what I'm saying is true. Yeah. But now more than ever, because I do comedy, people will bring me in because, they've got a script and it really does need help. And I have to breathe life into it as being, I'm a personality. And that's really a good thing. You definitely want to me in this industry, you want to dance to your own drum, because you said it. I've been doing this for decades. And that is the thing I've learned. If I had given up who I was and what I was about, you and I would not be having this conversation. And there would be no pandemic Cooking with Wendy. It took me, and if you read my book from the beginning to the end, that really is what it's about. Years of rejection and picking myself up, dusting myself off, and going for it again and coming at it in a different way. And eventually you get so good at it, you work and you can't be replaced, which is, that's the best thing, right? That's what we all want. We want to be there because they want us. not because you were one of, 15. I don't
Right.
want that.
Wendy, is it easier this way, do you think, for you as a performer who does do it all? Because there's not a lot of people like yourself, women, I have to say, who I like to fight for, who do everything and then who have traveled around the world. Jessica has
Right.
on herself. And the reason why I ask those things is because you know what it's like to put it all together. You know what it's like to direct. You know what it's like to produce and even write and be that model and be on the other side. Is this easier for you, or do you miss the old way?
No, I really like running my own show. I really do, because, Jessica, you brought it up early on in the game. You go into that audition, right? Let's put it out there. They don't know what they're looking for. All right. They've auditioned, your beautiful girl with long dark hair. Guess what? They saw 50 of them that day. And yeah. and right, they saw 50 of them, and guess what? Of the 50, 40 of them did a really good audition. They either read, the cold copy well, or they have a really kick butt monologue. Because when we do those monologues to ourselves again and again and again and again, we get really good at them. So how the heck do you make yourself stand out from that? That is, believe me, I've been on both sides of it, and it's, when you see how the decisions are made, you don't even want to know how the decisions are made. I've seen casting directors, somebody will come up and they are doing a brilliant job, and one of them is on the phone, the other one is taking a bite out of the sandwich.
They don't even look at you.
They don't even look.
They look
and
up.
It didn't even register. So you know what? My advice that I tell people, you need to, some way, somehow, whatever your hook is. Remember that song from Gypsy? You gotta have a gimmick if you want to get ahead. You need to find your hook or your gimmick or the thing that, that you're really great at that makes you stand out. Because otherwise it's like a big cattle show. And who needs that?
So true. So true.
Right?
I thank you for saying that. I appreciate that, because I know these things, but people don't really acknowledge that a lot unless they're actually in the same boat that I am. The fact that there's so many of me. When you from a distance, unless you get to know me or unless I put that out there, there's thousands of me.
Right.
that these people see.
How can you put that out there in a 5-minute audition? Well, the answer to that is you can't. It doesn't work. I am loving the Zoom thing, because I was so used to like walking into a room and I have this explosive energy, and I had to learn how to translate it onto this. And I did, which is something I can't even believe, because when everything first started coming down, I thought to myself, oh, just great. I hate being on a computer. I hate not having people in the room. Right. I'm a energy force. I like to touch. I like to engage. I like to make eye contact. Let's face it, there's nothing better than a live audience. Or so we thought. Think about now, now we can have our live audience virtually, which is really quite cool. You don't have the distractions that you would have in a club, or somebody coughing in a theater. Oh God, that's the worst, when you're, doing the most brilliant part of a play that you're in and someone starts hacking away. I'm sorry. I know I'm going off on a tangent. But I'm like,
you speak the truth. You speak the truth.
Let them I just speak the truth. Let them die already. Let it just be over. It's like, can't you control yourself not to cough? But this is a totally different medium, but in a lot of ways, I think it can work for us. I do know and hope that we will be again live, but I don't want this medium to go away either. I think that
it's not going anywhere. You don't have to worry about them, Wendy.
Thank you. You put my head at ease.
Yeah, very true.
I was thinking, because like I said, you always remind me of Joan Rivers. This is what Joan would actually be doing. You're acting like how I would see Joan continue to do stuff. She would like this platform because she would have her daughter Melissa on with her, and they would just continue it this way. And I think of how Robin Williams would do it, and I could just see it working the same way.
Oh, I love it.
And then eventually you would get back to the theater because people would kind of demand it, and it would work out at a later date.
Right, and that will happen. Thank you. I love the analogy of Joan Rivers and Robin Williams. I get Lucille Ball, modern day Lucille Ball a lot, especially with pandemic cooking. And then when I'm cooking with someone, it definitely is Lucy and Ethel. So that's a great, really great analogy. Listen, as performers, the best thing we can have is as many different devices in our back pocket, and just, you know, rise up to the occasion and do your thing. What has been limiting for me, these documentaries that my husband and I make are in remote parts of the world. So we have not been able, we have a film that's now in the festivals. It's coming up in the Catskill International Film Festival, Whispers and Witnesses. It's our film about rescuing gorillas and chimpanzees, the people that are doing it in Cameroon. Oh, that's done and it's out. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
It's been out.
I didn't get a link to see it. What's wrong with you two? Where's our link to see this?
Well, hold on there, Brian. Let me just get myself a little pen and paper right here. Hold on.
Wendy, what's the sign say in the back? Doesn't it say movie reviews and more? Hello?
Well, also you mentioned in the part one, you said that it got best documentary, right? At the Chelsea Film Festival.
It won the best documentary, and I'm going to send you a link. I just wrote it down. I know, right? Movie reviews and more, and you never got a link to my movie. How did that happen?
No.
Oh my God, the things that go through the cracks. But that's why we're all here today, isn't it? Because I'm going to make sure you get that link. So that's just got accepted now into the Catskill International Film Festival.
That's good.
Another film that I was co-creator on that my husband produced and directed, Rainbow Ending, about our LGBTQ following, how it's grown. That film was just in the Palm Springs.
I'd like to see that one too.
So, okay, I'll send you that as well. The Cinema Diverse Film Festival. So
send me everything you have. I am a movie whore, you know.
Huh?
I said send me everything.
That's what the word is. The word on the street that Brian is a movie whore.
That's right. I make no qualms about it. I want to see everything.
Yeah. Well, Wendy, what's the progress of let me see. It was the working in therapy dogs that you decided to do.
You know, I love Jessica. Jessica's a girl that does her homework. You just got a template, and I am that person too. But you'd be surprised. Out there, I go on things and people don't know anything, so I just talk. I'll talk for 80 minutes about myself, because I do. I love talking, not even about myself, about anything, because everything interests me. So you brought up Working Dogs, a love story. So we had started editing the film about therapy dogs, working dogs, dogs that are bomb sniffing dogs, dogs that remind their owners when to take their medication, dogs that help you if you have PTSD. And we were starting to work with an editor on that, and it's very hard to find a really great editor. And after X amount of dollars, I had to walk away from that. And my husband's been working on the edit of it. And we are still looking. We're looking for a good editor that can work with us. So I'm putting that out there. Someone that's not going to gouge us, and someone that gets our personalities. Because if you think I'm out there, you should meet my husband. Pure creative. Brilliant, genius. But you know, those kind of people are not always great communicators, right? When they're working with someone. I have to actually translate for him half the time. When he meets with people and starts talking, I'm like, oh, what he's really trying to tell you is. So we were figuring out, Alan started to do the rest of our edits on the film. And the reason we were in a big hurry this year is everything is virtual. And I love film festivals. I love the red carpets. I love going to them. I love meeting the other. Brian, I'm sure you and I are so similar. Well, probably you too, Jessica. You know, being with other people in the arts, going to the parties, sitting. When I'm at a film festival, I will literally sit there the 8 hours and watch the films. You know, and it kills me, you know, when they broadcast them simultaneously, like on 3 different screens, because then there's films that you're missing. I just eat it up. I love it. And then to get the thing about film festivals, getting to meet the people that are actually doing it. that to me is so amazing because their personalities, you get to talk to them like, what was your thinking behind this? You know, Brian, you get to do that a lot, but out there in the world, most of us, we don't get to meet the filmmakers that often. So I love the festivals. So we're working on Working Dogs so that we can hopefully get it in live festivals next year. And what my husband and I realized was, as we were nearing the end of this, there was something missing. And I realized that in March, when they shut down New York, I got to tell you guys, it was so bad here that I would say 1 out of every 4 people got sick. It was just rampant. I think it had been on the subways, and it was very hard to avoid. And I got sick it was like March 23rd, and thank God none of us were really bad. But we had to isolate. We stayed in for a week, and then we started feeling better. And we weren't going to go anywhere because you were terrified. But I live right near Central Park. And my daughter and I started going like 3 times a week because she's been working from home, which is our apartment. We started going 3 times a week. And we started seeing all these people with dogs. There's always loads of dogs in New York, but through the roof now, like dogs to the left of you, dogs to the right of you. Oh my God, that's the most cute puppy I've ever seen. Oh, I just got him because I'm working from home and I can have a dog now. Oh, I got this dog because I'm so depressed over everything. We went to the shelter and adopted the dog. And I have to believe that all of those people that I spoke to are keeping their dogs. I have to say the commitment was real, and the joy that these dogs brought to people was unbelievable. So over the summer, I thought about it a lot, and I said to Alan, we need to add this into our film. We can't tell the story of therapy dogs and working dogs without telling the story of the average Joe who didn't really have a reason to get a dog, didn't have an issue that they needed help with, but were so blown apart by what happened with this pandemic. This is probably like, I take and make lemonade out of lemons, but this is horrific. A worldwide pandemic. How could that have happened? These people got these dogs and they were smiling and they were happy, and they'd work from home, and then they take the dog out, and then they'd meet, right? Even though we have to be 6 feet apart and we have masks, where we can at least relate through our dogs. So my neighborhood was loaded with dogs, and I ran into a woman I know from the Explorers Club, which started us on a slightly different path with these dogs. I ran into her, this was a month ago. She had a mask on. I didn't know it was her because she had glasses on. You can't tell who the hell anybody is anymore. And the puppy was a very gorgeous Cavalier King Charles. But this puppy was special. He made a kind of eye contact with me that they're not all dogs are the same. They all do different things. This one had something behind the eyes that was unbelievable. And I started talking to her, and she lifts up her glasses and she lowers her mask. She says to me, "Wendy, this is Anne Duvallette from the Explorers Club." I'm like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "How are you?" She said, "Well, I'm fine now that I got this little guy." And then she started to tell me about a place where she was taking him to be trained up in Harlem, East Harlem, and how amazing the guy was, that he was like a dog whisperer. And that in March, when COVID hit, he was so terrified about what was going to happen with his business. And now you want to talk about a 360, business is booming. So I said to her, "Do you think he would allow us to go up there and interview him and shoot?" She said, "Absolutely." And I said to Alan, "My God, this just dropped down right from the universe. This is the rest of our film." And we did that. And we interviewed him, and the amount of dogs that he has up there is crazy. And he's such a great person. It's called Instinctive Dog Training. His name is Brian, and like yours. And he was originally from Canada. He and his wife came down here to start this dog business, not ever thinking that it would turn into this. He also, you want to talk about people with big hearts, right? And you all know that I'm one of those people. He takes care of the dogs of the first responders. So anyone that's, a first responder or in a health field that needs the daycare, he'll take the dog there. So this is what happens when you just allow things in the universe to come your way, when your heart and your mind is open. So yeah, that's what's going on with working dogs. And we still have one more little section that we want to do. And again, everyone that I have on film now is in masks, because I think not to have masks on is not telling the truth. I mean, yes, I can shoot one single person without a mask on, that's fine. But I think we all really have to remember, like, you know, someday when we're way past this and when we're old and we pass these stories down, we have to remember what it was like. You know, that the entire world wore a mask. Boy, I don't want to forget that. I don't want to forget that. As hard as it's been, you know, it's like it's up to all of us to tell the story. We have to pass the story down.
Right. So true. There's a couple of things that you mentioned. You said that you didn't know who she was, your friend was, because of all of this happening. I mentioned in a previous interview, my mother loves hats, and she's been that person. So not only does she have a mask, she has sensitive eyes, so she wears sunglasses even inside, which has driven me nuts ever since I was a kid. She'll go into a store and she wears glasses the whole time. I'm like, Mom, you're inside, it's not bright, but whatever. So she's got her mask, her glasses, and a hat. And I was thinking, Mom, if you go into a store, they're going to think you're going to rob them. Like, well, you need to show something.
My God,
so that
that's true. Everybody looks like a bank robber these days. It is. That's why I try, and I have all these really cool and fun masks. And the reason I do that is just, you know, if I have my fun masks on, you'll know I'm like a fun person and I'm not menacing. And plus, this is one of the things I do. Anybody that has a dog, that's just my personality. Even if I weren't making a film about it, I have to go up and meet the dog.
And you talk to the dog, right? You almost don't even acknowledge the person at first because you get so excited about the dog. That's totally me. My friend just got a dog. I went over to visit my friends last night, and his name's Spot, by the way. So cute. So anyway, this little puppy named Spot, and I didn't even say hi to her. I just popped out the car. I was like, Spot! And he runs over.
Now, what kind of dog is little Spot?
He's a Feist, which I'd never heard of before.
What kind of dog is it? I know my breeds.
Feist, Feist.
Oh, I'm gonna look it up, like feisty.
Yeah, like feisty without the Y.
Okay, I'm gonna Google that.
He is definitely feisty. He is a little terror. He chews everything. He was trying to eat my shoe off of my foot. Like I was just wearing slip-ons, and I had my foot up in the air, and it was just hanging off of my toes. And he came up behind me and tried to take my shoe off and run away with it.
That's so cute. Oh my God, how cute it's so adorable.
Well, you know what's funny about that is when I work around, when I see people in the neighborhood, I always acknowledge the dogs because the dogs are always happy. I don't say hi to the humans. I'm always acknowledging the dogs because most people don't say hi to the dogs.
Yeah, because the dogs are happy. You know, you see, they're kind of like, you know,
and then the humans go, what? He said hi to the dog, but he didn't say hi to me. Like, no, I don't care about the humans. I'm more concerned about the dogs. They're much more important in my book.
No, Brian, come on now. I'm concerned about the humans too. I just get excited about the dogs.
Well, I gotta tell you, so this must be New York. In my neighborhood, the owners don't want to talk to you for the most part, although that has changed during COVID with the people who have all gotten the new dogs, whether rescues or puppies. They want to talk about their animal. But a lot of the people that, you know, like live on my street on the east side, you go to talk to that dog, and I always ask, is it okay to say hi to your dog? Because sometimes, even before COVID, you go to say hi to the dog and they like pull the dog away. As if your fingertips weren't good enough to pet that dog.
Exactly.
So I'm glad that, I'm glad where you guys are that people are just more open about that. My dog is right here. Let me come here.
Wendy, you know we're gonna have to do
Nuggets.
You know we're gonna have to do a part.
Hey, Nugget. See, look, there I go. I'm talking to Nugget already. What's up, Nugget?
Yeah, it's about the dog. It's not about Wendy anymore.
He loves Mama. Yes, she
Aw.
loves mama. Okay.
All right,
Yes.
Wendy, give
That's
your
his
social
mother.
media links for us and talk about your book real quick.
Yes, here we go. Okay, everybody ready? Okay, on Facebook, I am Wendy Stuart. That's Stuart. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's Wendy Stuart TV on YouTube. And on there, you will find Pandemic Cooking with Wendy, Triversity Talk, and a bunch of theater work and TV work that I have recently picked up during this crazy pandemic. That's all on that channel. Then you can hop on over to Instagram and go to She's the Last Model Standing, which is the name of my book by the same name. My book, She's the Last Model Standing, is available on Amazon in both the printed form and the Kindle form. If you want to learn more about our films, you can go to our Facebook page. It's called Visual Journeys, Our Stories. And there's a page for my book on there as well. She's the Last Model Standing. Instagram, I'm Wendy Stuart on Instagram. My website, let me not forget a thing here. Oh my Lord, this is a lot. My website is www.wendystuarttv.com. And that's all, folks.
And Jessica, give yours real quick. You got about 20 seconds. Jessica, give yours real quick.
All right, Jessica Heim, excuse me, first and last name on Facebook, Jessica Heim 7 on Instagram, and on YouTube it is Notes the number 4 Life, all one word, and you'll find all kinds of fun stuff there.